Hi there. So, I'm going to attempt to recreate something like some of these with, and this is the secret ingredient, the Colonel's secret recipe. This is a transparent oil pastel. I don't know if anybody else makes transparent oil pastels, but Sennelier definitely do, because that's one. I've got some on order, but I think I might just be able to do it with what I've got left there. Yeah, so I mean that's basically the technique, that where you see the white of the paper coming through, that is where I've been using the transparent oil pastel. And then once the paint from the print plate has dried, I'll scrape that away. But to begin with, and I'll show you this in just a minute, what I do is I just establish obviously the handprints first, and then when they're dry I go over the top of them with the oil pastel. It's a pretty simple process, so hopefully it'll be over pretty quickly. This will be a fast demo. Okay, so yeah, there's another one. That's what happens sometimes if I build the image that's actually that hand, the shadow of it that I lifted out when I was doing the stamp prints over the top of the oil pastel. And those two are sort of, that one's not really using the oil pastel, but again you can see it there as a resist. Okay, so I'll make a start. Okay, so I'm using System 3 here, which is usually what I use. Just clear my old gel plate, which as you can see is adequately sticky. Okay. I've been getting into this colour combo recently, which is, this is the Phthalo Turquoise. And it's interesting. I've only really been using this resist technique that I got from, I think it's Yates Makes, on his YouTube channel. He's brilliant, great technique advice on there for these gel plates on using resists. And if I've learnt one thing and one thing alone, which I haven't, I've learnt a lot of things, but I was putting on way too much paint before. I realise now how little paint is actually necessary in order to make a lot of these processes work. I'm going to pop that over there for a minute. Right, try and keep my face out of the camera as much as possible. Yeah, so you may guess this is a bit, using the primaries a bit here, aren't I? So yeah, that's it's cadmium red, System 3, and the other one is Galleria with a different lid on it. And this is cadmium yellow. So the only one that isn't really a primary is the turquoise, and there is a reason that I've picked up. Hopefully it'll show up later in the process. Right, so roll them out. I might have started with blue first. That wasn't a wise decision, was it? Never mind. So yeah, really micro amounts. So you can almost see through the plate. Don't worry, it won't be this colour the other side. I'll show you in a minute. What is myself? Quite interesting how much of it gets returned. has been in the past, I don't want to temper it. Right. Okay. Right. So, this is where bits get interesting. Okay. I'm going to go for an old sketchbook here. That's the old cover for it. Sometimes it helps to let the paint dry if you're wondering about me doing that. Right, okay. When you do this, keep your hand that's making contact as still as possible. But I found giving a bit of assistance to the weight from your other hand, as long as you, definitely helps. Right, okay, so obviously you can see why I'm doing that. Same again. And lift away. That's not brilliant, but it'll do. It's enough to work with. Hopefully this will be a bit better. Plenty of weight. Okay, right. Usually at this point I would go and wash my hands, but that would mean leaving you here looking at this rather blank-facedly, I would imagine, so I'll carry on now. Right, that I will allow to dry. Now obviously they can come out a lot better than that, but in a minute what I will, when that's dried a bit, I will go round it with the oil pastel to the best that I can, and then I'll stamp print it with a smaller just show you this because I know that's gone off screen. So yeah, with a smaller gel plate, I'll stamp print these two once I've gone over them with the oil pastel, which won't be long, so I'll just carry on gas back in here for a moment. Hands look good, don't they? Let's have a look what it looks like from the other side. There we go, what did I say? It'll retain a lot more from the other side than you will do from... I've had a few ideas about where I'm going, but I'm not saying anything publicly too much yet. I've got a number of trials I'm going to run, but keep watching this space. I think I've seen something that's staring everybody in the face about gel plates. That, yeah, the name itself, not the gel part of it, is sort of implying a certain way of thinking about it, and it doesn't need to be approached that. I should stop tempting fate and see what happens in the practice rather than my speculation of where I think I can take this. Right, I think that's probably dry. I'm a bit sceptical about putting my inky, painty hands all over this now, but I've got a bit of, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Right, I'm going to do this one because I think this, and then at the very least you can see one done, because I'm not sure if I've got enough here, we'll see, to do two. It's going to be close. Maybe. Oh, you see a bit of the red coming through there, which is alright because I've pretty much already made my mind up about what colour I'm going to use to stamp it with, which will be red. Yeah, go. Right, I'm going to give it a go, see what happens. Might just be very stick figurey this, I'll that's the end of it. Okay, so right, that can go up there for a minute. So I just ink up a plate. That's nice and dry. Yeah, I was saying before, just to digress a little bit, if your hairdryer, your brayer, when it's caked in, I've been getting some, look at this, these are all brayer roller debris, look at them, fantastic colours. Don't know how I'm going to use them, but, so now even the brayer plate doesn't get wasted. Cost you a bit in electric, but okay, once again, not too much paint. I mean, there's nothing to stop you working out prints and all sorts and having a lot more. I'm just keeping it nice and simple so it's effective. And I know, because I've done it with this red before, that it is pretty effective. But yeah, just checking the time then quickly. Okay. Until I think I've got an even roll on the brayer that I start doing that and let it roll when it comes off of the plate. Right, that's pretty thin on there. Okay. Now, you may notice, hopefully it's not reflecting too much off the glass here, but I've got a light box underneath this, and sometimes, switch it on and show you what I mean. You can't, because it's what I'm using is a sketchbook cover, and I momentarily forgot that. But sometimes you can, well, depending on the thickness of your paper, you can blast through the image through the light box, and that's quite helpful if you need to be precise about lining up prints and things like that. That's what I really like about this resist technique. I'm going to use it for some, hopefully some quite elaborate. Right, so there we go. And you can see how the resist has worked, because there it is there. Now what I can do, and what I've done with others, just bear with us a moment. You can see there, you see this blue, it's a different colour there, that's that shadow print from that. When I scrape that away you'll see it, but sometimes what I like to do is to drop that in so you get a shadow in the, because I use a lot of opposing colours, so you get this built-in shadow, even though it's a reflective shadow, because it's actually, it's opposite. The thumb is facing the other way, obviously. So I think that's pretty much dry. Maybe not. It takes a little while for it to dry, that thread. And I don't want to dog you with the, that's pretty much dried up. Give that a minute longer. With the hairdryer, because it is noisy. You can watch me rub paint off my hands again for a little bit. Yeah, still a bit dry. Okay, I'm going to switch the mic off and give it a minute. Sorry about this. Okay, we're back with sound again. Make sure you're getting a good picture. I'm not going to go for that phthalo turquoise. I'm going to go for a bit of cerulean. A more, I don't know, it's a more pastel-y blue. It's not that pastel-y, but it's a bit more, and it'll play off that red a lot more than the I said that I'd use it later, didn't I? It works better in the actual, for the bigger plate that I took the two, it's down by my side down there, then it'll come in handy what I was saying about using the turquoise against the red. You get a really nice dark tone to it, but you can build it in and make it look organic. It almost looks Payne's grey sort of Mars black colour, but then it blends in also with the residual turquoise and red, so you get it's nice layering, let's put it that way. So yeah, same applies, but this time what I've got is also a shadow. You can see it coming through now. It's a good way of gauging how much paint you've obviously got on the gel plate. I did put quite a bit on here, so it'll take me a minute or two to get it off. Concentrating on talking to you. Don't you feel flattered? Right, we'll give that a go. Okay, obviously it's going to be a bit blindsided, but we'll see what happens. Let's go a bit skewy, shall we? I'm going to get the whole hand in, but there we go. Each corner touching. Right, now this bit takes a bit of, it depends on how much paint you put on, what the paper's like. There's a number of criteria, but yeah, the less paint you put on, obviously the less time that it needs to take effect. And so you lift the plate earlier. Okay, right, let's show you what I mean with this, with the resist. There we go. So that's the transparent resist coming into play there. And it makes me wonder about the colour, how they put colour into these particular, I'm a big fan of oil pastels, because it just picks the colour straight up. Right, that's coming out as red now, that was transparent when I put it down. It's not got that much paint on it, but it could be because it's a massing, so. Now unfortunately it was a bit vague on the original image, but you can still see bits of it coming through. I suspect on the other one the shadow's going to be more discernible than the... There's no reason that that should be a finished image at all, but you can see the process there. That's right, that's dry enough to work on, so we'll do the other one too. I can see where, there we go, there's a bit. Sort of find your way. There we are. Let's see. So it actually worked quite well with the shadow there. See, it gives it that little bit extra depth. Unfortunately, I think I was running out of oil pastel a bit prematurely there. So, but there you go. You get the idea about the technique. There's no reason you couldn't do that time and time again. I bought that transparent. I've only ever had that one transparent oil pastel. I've been using Sennelier oil pastels for probably ballpark of 30 years now. And I've never found a use for the transparent one, and I've just ordered half a dozen of them because now I can see clearly why, literally, excuse the pun, why it would be so useful. Right, I'm going to go and wash my hands. Thanks for watching. I hope that sort of enlightens you a little bit more to how I do. They're not the best examples, but you can see when they turn out well. They look, yeah, I'm really pleased with them, and it's given me a number of ideas moving forward. I'm particularly pleased with that one. But at the beginning of it. So stay tuned, and I'll keep posting more stuff. Tenacious, to say the least. Thanks a lot. Ta-ra.